So what you get by reading this book is a 500 pages long, 200 plus photos odyssey of the life and works of two great artists, Don and Moki Cherry. How they broke free, tear down walls, and helped to create a movement that is still today going strong, helping shape the jazz to come. What I'm talking about is this book, Organic Music Societies, about the life and works of Don and Moki Cherry. So, if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and give this a thumbs up, because if you do, it gets spread to even more people. And if you're interested in buying this book, I'll leave a link below to it's an affiliate link, so it means that if you buy it via the link, I'll get a small commission, but it won't cost you an extra. But with that being said, you can buy the book, I think, pretty much everywhere where they sell books. A lot of jazz heads, if not all jazz heads, knows about Don Cherry's music and arts and record covers. But I think that not many of us knows that much about Moki Cherry, Don Cherry's wife between the 60s and 80s, and just how much she influenced his work. Not only his music and arts, but also how he approached his music and how he performed and how he taught his music. The book is about Don Cherry, definitely, but it's even more about Moki Cherry. And I have to say, I'm the first one in line to say that I thought that the parts with Moki Cherry would be pretty dull. I mean, I'm a jazz fan, so the Don part of the book would be the most interesting, and I was dead wrong. Not that the stuff with Don is not interesting, it's super interesting, but Moki helps us to understand and open up the world of what is Don Cherry's music and life and death. Don Cherry, he worked famously with Ornette Coleman, but also played with guys like Coltrane and Ayler. Moki, on the other hand, she was called Moki Carlson, was an art student, a textile art student, and she knew Ayler because she was a big jazz buff. And when Ayler came to Sweden, she let him practice in her art studio. And one night, Sonny Rollins was in Stockholm to play, and Don Cherry was sitting in on trumpet. So Moki was there. They started to talk and hit it off. They met couple of times when he was here in Sweden to perform, and that was that. They were a couple. Now fast forward, Moki Cherry was really influencing Don's way of thinking, taking a sort of organic approach to his performance. He was now going free, and I don't mean free like free jazz, freeing himself from the bop tradition, because that was already done. No, free in this case, the book means, is free from social boundaries and cultural boundaries. They moved to a little bit north of Sweden, and they bought a big house, an old school actually, in the Swedish countryside. And they started to invite different artists, filmmakers, music, theater. They started to make music, theater, arts, just sort of a great hippie community. And they really lived by the phrase, the stage is home and the home is a stage. And I think that's nice, and I think it sums up a little bit of what they were trying to achieve living there in the countryside. I mean, I have a hard time wrapping my head around all this, because Don Cherry in the 60s is one of the biggest jazz names in the world. He could outsell jazz houses in New York if he wanted, and he decides to go to Sweden, this little country up north, and go to the countryside, not in Stockholm or Malmö or Gothenburg, something like that. No, he goes to an abandoned schoolhouse in the countryside of Sweden just to compile this hippie community, and with that also breaking free from the sort of big city corporates that tells you what to do, what to perform, and when to perform it. Organic Music Societies is a big book. It's not huge in size, but in thickness, and it's also really big in content. A lot of great writers have contributed to this, and some of the family members also. So you have a really sort of knowledgeable feast of knowledge in this. One in particular that that comes in mind is Magnus Nygren, which were the chief director of or chief editor of the world's longest going jazz magazine, Orkesterjournalen, here in Sweden. And I know for a fact that he is working on a biography of Don Cherry as we speak. So I'm going to be first in line to buy that book when it comes out, and obviously show you guys and do a book review of that too. And the bits and parts with the family is also really a fantastic insight into the sort of the life of Moki Cherry and Don Cherry. I've listened to Don Cherry's music for a long time, and especially the stuff that he did in Sweden in the 70s. And I have to say that I've only sort of listened to the music, and I haven't asked the question how and the question why. But the book really helps you to understand Don's way of approaching music, why he sort of chooses to go with the music that he goes with, and it helps to really appreciate the man's work even more, I have to say. And when it comes to Moki, I have to say even more kudos to that sort of human being. And I can't really not compare her to Alice Coltrane. Here we have an artist that lives a little bit in her husband's shadow and tries to perform her art in the meantime, or at the same time, sort of taking care of the household. I mean, both John Coltrane and Don Cherry, huge names, and Alice Coltrane also, obviously, but few knows about Moki Cherry. And I have to say that reading the book gives you a huge respect for the woman, a powerful, independent, great artist, and that wasn't living per se in the shadow of her husband, helping him absolutely, but also letting him help her. Even if I'm not a huge fan of textile art, it's not my thing really. I have huge respect for the art and the artist after reading the book. So, fascinating book, highly recommended for all fans of Don Cherry and Moki Cherry, obviously, but also jazz in general. I mean, it's a great insight into the Don Cherry life. It's not a super costly book, so and the photos is fantastic. All in all, great, highly recommended. So that's it. I'll leave a link below if you want to buy the book, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.